Millennials represent a really important part of the workforce. It's estimated that by 2020, they'll make up 50% of the workforce. That's only 3 years away, 50%. By 2030, it's estimated they're going to make up 75% of the workforce. So they play an extremely important role. And then the other conclusion we can draw from this data is there's not enough currently coming into the industry. We're short. But when you look at retention rates in the industry, close to 100% for many large carriers, there's a bigger problem than attracting people to the industry, right? It's window dressing. So we could talk about, hey, what kind of messages should we put out there to get people to come in our door? Well, you know what? If you make that mannequin look real good, and you get them to walk in the door, and you don't have the merchandise to support that mannequin standing in the window, they're going to take their money elsewhere. They're not going to buy in, right? So I felt that it was more important to talk about culture, because if you can get your culture down and create a culture where people want to be, it becomes very easy to market and advertise at that point, because you're just sharing your company's story. You're just talking about who you are, what you represent. It's a top channel used by recruiters to attract millennials, online presence. So that's what recruiters are saying is, we got to be everywhere online, right? And there's something to that for sure. But millennials are saying the thing that has the most influence on us is actually market reputation. How is a market reputation created? Culture. The phenomenal culture. Stephen Covey said, your culture is your organization's most competitive advantage. From your strategy to your systems, your competition can replicate almost every advantage you have. Every advantage that is except one, your culture. He goes on to talk about 3 components that make up culture. We've got relationships, right? How the employees treat each other in the middle there. And then we've got behaviors. Right? How do they act when they're at work? And then we've got the values, norms, and systems as well. Those 3 areas make up your culture, according to Stephen Covey, a guy who knows a thing or two about culture. So, diversity. It's the most diverse generation. 44% are part of a minority or ethnic group. So what would a responsive culture then do? Bilingual staff members, right? 38% of millennials are bilingual. Most educated, which we talked about, so that they carry heavy debts. So what does a responsive culture do? Offers tuition reimbursement programs, right? Development. This is a little tougher, I think, in the trucking industry, but career pathing is the #1 factor in their decision to stay. So if you ask a millennial, well, I've got it down here, only 50% plan to be in their current job for more than a year. Doesn't mean they're leaving the company necessarily. They just don't want to be in that position, same position a year from now. So what are you providing as far as growth is considered? Can they get promotions? Is the path clear on how to get a raise? In conclusion, the right message is so much easier to craft if you've got the culture behind it. So if you want to attract millennials, if you want to keep millennials, have the type of culture in place that you just tell your story. You just talk about who you are and what you're doing, and they'll want to be part of that.